There are a lot of people that love reading but can't seem to focus on it. And today we tackle a few ways to get over this problem, a few ways to make it so that you can read a book from start to finish and enjoy it and it doesn't feel like a chore. And the reason I'm making this video is because I got a comment the other day. I don't know if it was yesterday or it was today, but it doesn't matter. This is a comment I keep getting, and this is a comment that I'll keep answering, and I will keep making videos about it because it's so important. And the first thing I want to say is if you find yourself struggling to finish a book, if you really enjoy reading but you can't seem to stick with it, the first thing I'm going to say to you is set out a plan. Set out a set amount of pages that you're going to read on a daily basis and make it something that's very easy. Make it something that you could do before bed, you could do when you wake up. You could just knock off right away because the more you read, the easier it becomes. The better you start working on your imagination and your ability to read a book, the easier it becomes and the more you gain from them. I read a book today, I get so much more than that I did 2 years ago before I made reading a very consistent habit. And that's something I really want to start and preface this video with is it's something you build up to. It's not something you're going to be engrossed in and be good at right away. Just understand that and you're going to go a long way if you keep that in mind. The next thing I want to say is when I really first started getting back into reading, there was this weird thing in my head where I needed to finish books, where I wanted to read as many books as possible, where the number of books mattered versus the actual information I was getting. So what I was doing is I was picking up very small books, 50 pages, 80 pages, 40 pages, almost like pamphlets. They were jam-packed with weird kind of stuff that I was always fascinated with, and it was a great thing because I could pick up a book and finish it in a day and felt like I did something, felt like I got some sort of accomplishment. And really what I'm saying here is don't pick Dostoevsky. Don't pick the Brothers Karamazov. Don't pick something that's 800, 900 pages. That's a real commitment. That's something that's going to take you weeks and weeks and weeks, if not a month, if not 2 months. I don't know how slow people read, but do something you can check off the box. We love little victories that we can build upon on this channel. That is the thing that I'm going to tell you to really emphasize. Find a small book like this. This book is tiny, Jesus the Son of Man by Khalil Gibran, and it has a whole lot of stuff in it, and it's really good. So, start with something small. Start with short stories. Start with something that you can finish and you can get done with, and you can get the full picture. You can get the full story or the full sort of point that the author is trying to make. The next thing I want to say is there's a lot of books that start off good or that have interesting ideas that aren't as interesting as they are in theory. A person that I feel this way about is I love his ideas, but I cannot for the life of me read any of his books is Kierkegaard. I think he has a few interesting ideas that I see myself coming back to, that I see myself really agreeing with, but then I come to actually reading his works and I always just put them down. And it's very unfortunate because there's certain ideas, there's certain authors, there's certain things you just don't click with, and you don't necessarily want to read, and you don't want to continue to read. So just put the book down. It's a lot easier to put a book down and find something that you like than it is to force yourself to get through something. Because if you force yourself to get through something, then you're going to associate that negative feeling with reading, and it's going to put you back to square one, and it's going to make it so you don't want to read things. Think about when you were in high school or when you were even younger and you were reading all these books that were not good, that were not fun to read, and it negatively associated the entire act of reading, the entire act of learning with something you didn't like. That was a problem with me for so long. Is I loved reading when I was young. I loved reading when I was a kid. It's one of my favorite things to do, but it just got beat out of me by the school system. I read so many bad books. I read so many boring books, so many things that were not stimulating mentally, and because of that, I strayed away from it for so long, so keep that in mind. The next thing I want to say is, if your attention span is not that good, again, these are things we can all work on. These are things that we can get better at day after day after day, and I'm not telling you to be hard on yourself. I'm just telling you to recognize where you at so that you can get a little bit better, so that you can start improving. The one thing to increase your attention span would be to lower your screen time. I'm very bad at this. I'm not putting any shame on you. I'm just saying that start thinking about these things. Start thinking about, oh, when I wake up, I go right on my phone. That's setting your day off on a bad note. That's something that you really should be doing. And it's little things that you can do in order to start fixing your attention span. So, instead of picking up your phone to go on social media, you have 10, 15 minutes. Pick up a book and try to read it. Even if you don't really get it, even if you don't really understand it, it's still a better habit that you're going to start building on. But really what I'm going to say is, if you're very new to reading and if you have a very bad attention span, what I would start doing is start with audiobooks. Audiobooks are great because you can be doing things while you're listening to a book, while you're learning, while you're engrossed in a story. There was a time where I was at the gym and I would just be listening to audiobooks for 2-3 years straight. It was amazing. It was one of the best periods of my life, and I feel like I really learned a lot through that period because, I was multitasking. I was doing something I loved while learning, while enjoying a story, while enjoying a book, while, in some way developing myself in multiple facets of my life. And I think that was really the stepping stone for me becoming the avid reader I was today. And I really think it could offer you something very interesting because it starts opening your mind to new possibilities. It starts opening your mind to what you could learn in a book. It starts associating certain ideas. It starts building good habits. Instead of listening to mindless music that's pumped out by various three-letter agencies and all of these corporate interests and all of these propaganda sort of peddlers. Like, I don't like the state of modern music, but instead of filling your head with degenerative stuff, you're filling your head with aspirational stuff. And I think it's a really good change that you can make in your life, and that you should make in your life if you're trying to change things for the better, and if you're trying to get into learning and reading and all sorts of things when it comes to the betterment of yourself. So yeah, with that said, hopefully this video helped you. Hopefully this was something that interested you. And I really think this is one of the most important things you can do, because you're already on the right track. You already want to read, and you just don't have the attention span right now, but you can build it. You can make yourself the person that can sit down and read an entire book in one sitting if you just put your mind to it, but you're putting your mind to other things. So we just need to redirect that energy. We just need to put that into something that you can build upon. Give yourself stepping stones. Give yourself a possibility to getting to that end goal, because right now you're here and you want to be here. And how do we get here? It's because you need to take those incremental steps here, and I think I laid out a few things that you could start changing, and a few changes that are really going to stick and make a difference. And I want you to understand this as well. This is going to be the last thing I leave you with, is that Rome wasn't built in a day. And if you think that you're going to be able to fundamentally change who you are in one day, it is possible, but it's very difficult. And I don't want you to live off hope. I don't want you to live off that idea that you will instantly make changes that will completely uproot your life and change. No. I want you to go for the gradual results, because if you read 10 pages a day for the rest of your life, you will probably read hundreds, if not thousands, of books in your lifetime, and you are well on your way to becoming a very well-read person, a very well-mannered person, a very well-adjusted person. So, stick in it for the long run, and just keep your head up and just keep developing these skills and keep getting better at them. And you will see in no time how fun reading can be, how enlightening it can be, and how beneficial it can be for you. So with that said, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. I'll catch you in the next one.